muy emocionante.
Un poquito incómodo cuando...
Hi guys, thank you for joining me in this video. I'm Arving Gonzalez, and this is the LIDOM preview, and I have a very respectable ambassador and known guy, not only in the USA but in the DR, which has been covering LIDOM in the last couple of seasons alongside Jake. I'm talking about Jordan Shusterman from Céspedes BBQ, and we're gonna be breaking down the big names, the format of the tournament for those who are getting into LIDOM this season, and one and other resource for you to follow the league better. So thanks a lot for joining me, Jordan, and welcome to the show.
I'm so happy to be joining you once again. And yeah, man, I can't wait for this winter ball season to get started. I know it's a little weird with it always starting in the middle of the Major League Baseball postseason, but I can do both at once, and I can't wait. I mean, I remember last year being in Houston at the World Series, and I think opening day was during the World Series last year, or at least it was, or maybe not quite. I think it started around then. I remember being in Houston, Atlanta, and watching LIDOM. I remember watching Albert Pujols getting his first hit with Escogido last year while in Atlanta, which was very funny. And yeah, I'm just super excited for the season to get started.
Yeah, I think you already have begun because I think last season was like in the 21st that began. But yeah, and also like to guys who are not, let's say, some Dominicans or Americans who are not like so updated about you guys, is you can make a little intro about the work you do and the first time that you began covering LIDOM.
Sure, yeah. So me and Jake Mintz, we've been running Céspedes BBQ together for about 10 years. But I would say probably 3 or 4 years ago, I mean, we always knew about LIDOM and winter ball and everything, but I would say once we figured out how to watch it before MLB TV, we were really getting into it about probably 3 or 4 seasons ago. And then we've just Jake went down there and visited and was there for a couple months. I got to visit and was there for about a week 2 years ago. And yeah, we're just hooked and we just love the league, and it's just been such a great way to carry us through the off season. It's so much fun, and in a lot of ways it's a very different kind of baseball, and so that's really exciting as well.
Yeah, it's really good listening that kind of perspective from you, because I think that's what fans like newcomers are gonna get when they watch LIDOM. Because I don't know, maybe those who are used to go to MLB games are not gonna feel that amazed, but the ones who only follow MLB are gonna be kind of shocked because
Sure.
it's a different animal.
It is, but also, I mean, certainly atmosphere and just, but I mean, the thing I love so much about it is, and this is just, I love baseball, but baseball with high stakes is the best baseball, right? And that's why we watch the postseason. And that's another really cool thing about LIDOM is how important every game is, because the season is so short and because how much the fans care. And so even though, the quality of play obviously isn't really that close to MLB, even though you have MLB players in it sometimes, it's a huge variance, but I think that also makes it more interesting and more unpredictable. And so, but just feeling how much people care about these games is really, really special.
Yeah, I remember that I asked Ben Butler in one episode that we talk about some of the guys who were going to the draft, and I asked him that question, and he told me that you can like classify LIDOM between AA and AAA level. But maybe this year is gonna be a little bit higher because a bunch of Dominican players, like from the big leagues even, are gonna be playing there to get in shape before the World Baseball Classic. That was something that happened in the 2016-2017 season, I remember.
Do you think, I know we're kind of jumping ahead here, but that's probably not going to happen until January. Is that pretty safe to say? Would
Yeah,
you say? Yeah,
sure. You could have like some that maybe
or maybe
they,
December.
yeah, like late December, the last week of the regular season, to maybe get more in shape, not only for the WBC but also for the round robin for the playoff.
Exactly.
Because, uh, yeah, let's get into it. So the format, there are 16, and two are from the capital, which is in the southeast in Santo Domingo. There are Leones del Escogido and Tigres del Licey. Then in the east region, gonna be two more, Toros del Este in La Romana and Estrellas Orientales in San Pedro de Macorís, Sammy Sosa hometown, Robinson Cano. It's called the Big Leaguers town in the Dominican Republic. So you can have an idea what I'm talking about. And then in the north region, which is also called Cibao region, there are gonna be the two layers thing. Águilas Cibaeñas in Santiago de los Caballeros. There are two Santiagos in the DR. And Gigantes del Cibao, they play San Francisco de Macorís. So it's a short regular season on only 50 games, and 4 teams going to the main playoff event, the round robin. But before that, there's a playing between the 4th place and the 5th place. But certain aspects have to happen for that. So have to be like no more than 3 games between 4th and 5th place of distance. And I have to check the rule. Yeah, just
Well,
Jordan?
so I just you just reminded me that we're back to 50 games this year because the COVID season was just 30, and then I believe last year was only 40 games in the regular season. But we're back to 50 this year.
Yeah. Let me just double check. Yeah, I remember. And just, you know what? Let's introduce Bengaleses, which is a pretty good website, which not only have like the traditional stats, but also have all the press releases from the 16s. They made a pretty nice coverage of the LIDOM draft also, and is pretty well designed from my good friend Angel, who ironically doesn't receive the support and the I don't know, the encourage that he should be receiving. In 2012, LIDOM basically changed their domain to Bengaleses. So Bengaleses.com was LIDOM.com in the 2012 season. That's how nice is the job that they do. And let's look into the calendar. Let me put this bigger. But I think they're about to fit the games. So the season is beginning. Let me update this. This is on. Yeah, all right. Let me just 1 second, because I was looking on my phone and I could watch the calendar. And let's see here how it is.
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
not sure
because
they
I got
have the new
here. Yeah.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah, beginning this Saturday, 3 games and 5:05 Eastern time. Licey is facing Escogido. Oh, that another thing. Licey, Tigres del Licey and Escogido, Leones, share the same stadium, Quisqueya Stadium, in the heart of the Dominican Republic capital, Santo Domingo. So they're gonna be playing there, but Escogido is gonna be the local team that they and Estrellas are gonna visit Toros 2 hours later, and then at the prime time 8:05 Eastern time, Águilas is gonna be facing Gigantes, who are the defending champion. And let me get into December. Let me see if I can make it. Yeah. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a 50. I can count the games right now, but it looks like it's gonna be 50 game calendar. But that's something that I can check later. I remember that they made an announcement, and it's not gonna be like the last season. Let me I'm just looking for it right now. But we can be like breaking down the other things in the meantime. All right, here I got it, and I'm gonna be telling you as fast as it show up. All right, yeah, fits the game. So yeah,
Great.
it's right, because as you say, it was 30 in the 20 season, and then in the 2021 last season it was 40, but it's gonna be 50 games, and then the round robin is gonna begin on December 22nd, and the finals are gonna be on January 18, 2023. So yeah,
Nice.
there we have the info. And sorry, because that was something unexpected. I didn't remember, honestly. But yeah, talking about the format, 14th, 5 or 16th of the 16th can go to the playoff, as long as the distance between 4th and 5th place is 3 games or less. And then there are no semifinals. It's a round robin, which means they're gonna play 18 games, 6 games against each team. Remember, are gonna be 4 teams only in the round robin after the play-in, which is the best of 3 game series. And the format, yeah, is in the 4 place team that they're gonna play. And yeah, and the finals are the best, like the World Series, the best of 7 games. And how do you think? I don't know if you wanna get into the players right now, or
Yeah, let's do that. Let's
yeah,
look
yeah,
at some
yeah,
of the foreign players.
yeah. It's been 12 long minutes already, so let's get into the foreign player first, because I think those are players that the people are making this podcast for are more popular. That's why I'm making this podcast in English, so I can I don't know, do my little effort to keep LIDOM on mind of the fans. Not as big as you guys did in the previous seasons, but it's something. So let's
I'm glad you're doing it, because we don't have the same amount of time. So yeah.
yeah, I can notice in the new podcast also, and yeah, that's good. So yeah, let's begin with Lisey and the foreign players before showing you guys one team. The LIDOM teams have a 10 players roster. Like, they can sign more, but they can put it on the roster, on the weekly roster or daily roster. They can only have 10. That's the limit.
So it's 10 player forward player limit, you mean?
Yeah, 10 player for team in the weekly and daily roster. They can replace it. It's open anytime. Let's say, and that happens. Like in the first 2 weeks, a foreign player is struggling, they just replace it for
They just get
another
rid
one.
of them. Yep.
Yeah. So these are the guys who Lisey have announced, and I'm using bengaleses.com, which is a really good page, and I encourage you to visit. Let's put it better here. All right. So Lorenzo Quintana is a Cuban catcher. Steve Moyer, a lefty reliever who was with Lisey last season. Pavin Smith, I don't have to talk that much about him. You have seen him, enough with the D-backs, and you know about Taylor Corey, and everybody knows about Tristan Casas. He's already with Licey in the preseason, which ends today. Uh, yeah, James Jones, lefty reliever. Jacob Nottingham, catcher who have MLB experience too. Brooke Horse, righty. The 2070 first pick for the Blue Jays, Nate Pearson, and Charles LeBlanc, who made his debut with the Marlins in the 2022 season. So, what are your thoughts on those players?
So I'll just go through all of them quickly. Quintana, I don't know much about. Excited to see what he can do. No idea about him. Moyers was in the Mariners organization, so I remember him. And he pitched for Licey, I believe, last season.
Yeah.
Pavin Smith, former first round pick himself from UVA. He feels like one of the Diamondbacks hitters.
Oh, didn't know that he was from UVA.
Yeah, he's a UVA guy. Him and Jake McCarthy, both UVA guys. And he didn't really take the step forward that some of the other Diamondbacks hitters did this season. So I'm not surprised to see he's a perfect kind of candidate where, a guy trying to get back on track, get some more at bats against high competition. So he makes perfect sense there. I'll come back to Colway at the end, but Cassis, I mean, that's a huge name. That's a really big prospect. I think Red Sox fans are going to be really excited to see him. And I think the reason I'm super excited about Cassis is he has huge power, right? And you need it if you're going to hit home runs in Quisqueya where they play.
Sure.
And so you don't see, again, not a lot of home runs in LIDOM outside of, I mean, there are some, but it's certainly a lower rate. And certainly some of the ballparks are really hard to hit home runs in, and Quisqueya, their home park especially. So super curious to see how his power plays in that park in particular. And he's obviously just very talented. James Jones, what a cool story, former position player. I remember we interviewed him in Tacoma when he was still an outfielder 7 years ago. But I know he's converted to the mound. He's a hard-throwing left-handed reliever. Nottingham, standard backup catcher. I don't believe I think he was just with the Orioles in AAA all season this year. So you can see why he wanted to maybe get some more time in winter ball. He did not play in the big leagues this season.
No, I think he was with the Brewers before, right?
Before, yeah, but now he's with the Orioles. I don't know if he still is under contract. Brooks Hall, I don't know that much about it. I know he's just a reliever. I don't know if he's made the big leagues. I remember he has kind of been in the minors for a while. Pearson's super exciting too. Obviously, a guy who's been hurt a lot during his career, and he definitely needs innings. He will be throwing about as hard as I would imagine, just about as hard as anyone else in this league, really, outside of a couple others. So that's super exciting to get a pitcher of that level. I feel is pretty uncommon, honestly, to see a pitcher of his caliber. And LIDOM, and then Charles LeBlanc, who I really didn't know much about before the season, played a lot for the Marlins this year and was pretty good. Like I could see him really, really hitting well. He was basically a league average hitter this year in about 50 games. So he should be a good fit. Just more of a contact guy down in LIDOM. And then Taylor Colway, really exciting because he was a former Division III baseball All-American at Wisconsin lacrosse. He was one of the best. I mean, he hit like 500. Literally, he hit 485 his junior year at Wisconsin lacrosse. And Division III baseball is something I'm very passionate about. So I've known him since that was 2016. And then he was drafted by the Padres in the 21st round. And, he had a great season this year. This is second straight year having in AAA with the Padres, hitting really well. But again, he's a little bit older. He's 27, perfect for this league. And it would require a bunch of injuries for him to really get to San Diego. It's been disappointing. He hasn't even gotten a single call because he's now, he's basically he's hit 306 in 236 AAA games, and he hasn't gotten the call. So hopefully he can, he makes his major league debut next year, but could be a really fun player to watch in LIDOM.
So there's some Mariners players, and so Aldo Vicente, who is the general manager for Tigres del Licey, he works for the Mariners, and that's something that is common in the winter leagues. Like the guys who works for MLB organization has better connections, and they got their guys, and that's an advantage. Like last on the pandemic, you remember Wander Franco playing for Escogido because Jose Gomez
that's true.
Worked for the Rays. Yeah.
So, Colway's with the Padres, so I don't know if you meant Padres.
No, Oh no, I was talking about Moyer
Moyers.
and Jones when he was with the
Yep.
Mariners. Yeah.
And then also I know Aguilas is very tied in with the Cardinals.
Yeah.
So that's
Angelo Valles is
and then
the
I
scout
believe
supervisor for the DR.
and I believe
Filiberto Fernandez.
Toros is connected with Oakland.
Yeah. Raymond Nunez. Oh no, Raymond Abreu. That's his last name. He's been with the A's for I think like 20 years.
Yeah. So that it's so true. You definitely see that all the time. It definitely helps to have those connections and with major league organizations.
Yeah, and one thing about Brooks Hall, he was on AA with the Mets this season, but then he went to the Atlantic League with Lancaster and had pretty good numbers.
Yeah, no, I see that here. Yeah. He came up with the Brewers, D-backs, then I guess Mets.
He's 32, and something Jordan said about the age is, it's true, because the LIDOM average age, I think, is between 27, 28. So that fits perfectly. Let's go to next thing, which is Aguilas.
Yeah, let's keep going.
And you're going to see a bunch of pictures here. And first guy, of course, I will let you talk about him. Go ahead.
He is right there.
Yeah.
This is obviously a huge reason why I'm very excited about this season, is that Yoenis Cespedes is going to be playing baseball. Our favorite player, the inspiration behind our name. And Aguilas is a big part of, where he played right before he signed with Oakland.
Yeah.
All those years ago.
2011, 2012 season.
Yep. And he didn't play that much there. He hit one homer. He kind of showed up in the round robin. He didn't play that well. He didn't play that much, but did hit one homer there. And it seemed like, we haven't seen him in the big leagues for 2 years. And it's just cool to see that he wants to keep playing. I'm not expecting to see him back in the big leagues again anytime soon, but maybe. This is really. I'm just glad he's still going. That's really where I'm just super excited because I obviously I love watching him play. So very excited about that. Do you want me to run through the rest of the guys because I can just go do the same thing? But if you wanna...
Sure. Just one thing about Cespedes. So when he went to the DR that season, he was. It was a short stay, but it was huge, especially because it was a win or go home game between Licey and Aguilas.
Yep.
That finally Aguilas won to play the finals with Escogido, and I remember he hit a big homer there, and it was against. I don't remember who was pitching for Licey.
I tweeted the clip out.
For Aguilas it was Raul Valdez who was taken in the eliminated teams draft, and it's like a comeback story for him to finish the business. So I'm pretty excited to see the first at bat for him in Estadio Cibao, which is the home of Águilas Cibaeñas, and then
I got to go there. That was one of the ballparks I got to visit, so that's where I got this hat.
Sure.
So I have seen that ballpark. Really, really cool stadium, and I can't wait, right? And it's going to be really, really interesting because I think we'll know pretty quickly what kind of impact he can make. It looks like he's been DHing, playing some left field in the preseason game.
I think maybe that's best spots for him. Águilas have so many young and good outfielders.
And the thing is, let's remember, my guy is 36 now. He's actually about to turn 37. He's turning 37 this week or next week. So it's not like he's going to be one of the older position players in the league.
Yeah.
And so that's why honestly, we actually, this is you'll maybe you heard us say this on the podcast, but we got an email on our podcast asking over under 9.5 home runs for Cespedes and LIDOM. I was like 9. I was like the over under should be 1.5. It should be 2 or 3.5.
It's gonna be some really nice arms there. Especially veterans, and you're gonna see later in the episode the Toros rotation is scary.
So I would just say I am super excited. I just hope he's good enough to stick around. I hope he's not.
So do I.
I hope. I'm not saying he's going to be the best player in the league. I just hope that he's good enough to stick around and is not like released in like 2 weeks. But yes.
Yeah, which is something that has happened before. I remember Andrew Jones when he played with Águilas. That didn't went well.
I didn't even know he played down there. Let me see.
Yeah,
I'm
he
pulling up the stat. Oh boy. Oh yeah. No, that was only 5 games.
yeah,
Oh no,
yeah.
no. Sorry,
No.
9 games. 9 games total.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
there's a bunch of veteran players who have uh, gone to the DR, and yeah, it's hard
It's
because
hard. It's hard. So I hope he plays well. But okay,
sure.
let's we can. I mean, I can talk about him all day. But
So
who else we got?
there are some players who have played with the Águilas in the last couple of seasons. So of course, Roenis Elias, Juneski Maya, and Joe Van Meter are
Joe
3 of
Van
them.
Meter. I mean, he's a staple. He is he's just become one of the faces of LIDOM starting pitching.
Yeah. I think that's a really good trio for a league that demands having like guys who can throw 4 or 5 innings, even 6.
I
Because
mean,
that's another.
Yuneski Maya is just so much
Yeah.
fun, man.
Yes,
He loves it.
yeah. He is like the perfect nickname for him, the El Guerrero, the warrior. So yeah. And in Lidon, it's not that often that you see pitchers going to the 7 inning or 6 innings. So yeah, I would say that's something that you can be excited about. Águilas is about a strong and under control rotation. And when I say under control, it's not like MLB. It's about like you don't have that prospect that an organization is going to stop in the middle of the tournament or that is going to sign with a thing in Japan, Korea, because that happens a lot. And those guys
Good point.
mostly pitch in Mexico, independent leagues in here in the US. So that's something really important that everything wanna like have that couple of guys, not specifically them, but that characteristic that you wanna have it for the rest of the season.
Great point. Yeah.
And yeah, French Winder, I can't say that much. You already saw what he can do. What he is in a good streak with the Cubs. So Michael Perez was the latest signing. Was this at noon or early in the afternoon that Águilas announced the signing of the catcher that was with the Mets this season in Paris and have really good defensive skills. So I think Águilas have a pretty veteran Lidon kind of guys here.
Totally. Yeah. I mean, you just see when you look at the relievers, I mean, these are all guys with big league time or high minors experience. Donnie Hart, Nick Wickren, Holmberg, Schultens, Jeff Hartley, like all these guys have pitched in the big leagues or close to it. And that's a pretty decent way to build a good Lidom bullpen. The Perez pickup is interesting. I mean, so Francisco Pena is still in Taiwan. Is that true?
Yeah.
That's wild that season's still going on because he's like.
Yeah, I think maybe they have to be players in the CPBL. I think
right.
so.
Yeah, I would assume so.
Yeah,
but
it's way too late.
But Francisco Pena, of course, truly one of the faces of Lidom. I wrote about him earlier this season because when I wrote about Wainwright and Molina and all the catchers besides Molina that have caught him, and he actually caught Wainwright for one start.
I remember, and Wainwright they didn't remember about some of them.
And I made the point that Pena is basically Yadier Molina for Águilas. I mean, he is their Yachty. I mean, he's been
absolutely
playing for over 12, 13 years.
Yeah.
And it helps that of course they have the Cardinals connection too. But so yeah, Francisco Pena. I mean, he'll be back. He'll be the main catcher whenever he comes back, I'm sure. And then the last one here before we move on to Escogido is Tyler Nevin, who I would say is not the most. I don't know how much of a future he's really going to have in Baltimore. I don't like he didn't have the greatest season. I mean, they gave him a lot of run, but I think he could totally have success in this league against some lesser competition because he really struggled a lot in the big leagues this year. But I mean, he's always hitting the high minors, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him kind of,
Yeah,
you know,
it's
find a way to succeed.
yeah, it's hard because now he's been basically the last couple of seasons in a pretty competitive farm system. So
Yeah,
yeah, and
true,
he's gonna be playing in a hitter-friendly stadium
true.
with Águilas, and he's gonna be playing, let's say, 25 games there and 5 more in San Francisco. So basically, 60% of the season he's gonna be playing hitter-friendly park. So yeah, I think that's a pretty good group. It's kind of different that Licey have more like big prospects and stuff, but this one is more like focused on veteran guys, especially
Totally.
pitchers. And yeah, also Céspedes highlighting there. So let's
Yes.
go with Escogido.
Yeah, and
And
Escogido, you know, shorter list. I think too.
yeah, the,
This
la-
is
the
sort of closer to
yeah, it's the shortest. And yeah,
but I would say it's a bit of a mix, right? So you have Peter O'Brien, who we've seen win LIDOM MVP before. He's now
yeah,
bounced around a couple teams, but
yeah,
again, you're seeing a combination of pitchers that have been in the big leagues or close to it. Ryan Dull pitched a ton in the big leagues with Oakland.
yeah,
Humberto Mejia, a little bit younger, but he has a big league time recently. He's from Panama. Matt Hall, lefty, who came up, I believe, he was with the Tigers for a long time, and then Trey Wingenter, who I don't think pitched in the big leagues this year, but certainly
yeah.
has
Not
been.
this year.
Or wow, he hasn't been since 2019. So he was in the big leagues with
Yeah,
the
with the
Padres
Padres,
in 18 and 19. But he was definitely a dude, and it looks like he's just been injured. So I'm sure he's coming back. He really has not pitched much over the last few years. So I'm sure he's just trying to get some innings. So
yeah.
yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And then Rorgvet too, another guy who was injured.
It was the same with him, and it was one of the names in the transaction that sent Jose Trevino
Mm-hmm.
to Yankees from the Twins, and also Josh Donaldson. So yeah, and I read a little bit about him, and what I read was good about especially his defense. So yeah, that's something. Remember, for guys who are a little bit used to LIDOM, Wilkin Castillo, the captain, is no longer a player. He retired, and yeah, Leones is gonna be in the need of some foreign catchers. Like
Yeah,
I think,
because they had Brett Sullivan last year.
yeah,
He was pretty. He was like perfect. He was
yeah,
so perfect for that.
absolutely.
But Rorgvet makes a lot of sense. I mean, the Yankees were excited about him. Then he was just injured, and then hasn't really been a
Of
factor
course, and
since.
let's remember also that the general manager of Escogido, Luis Rojas, is basically a third base
True.
coach for the Yankees. So
True.
that's there's the connection we were talking about. And yeah, it's a small group. I'm looking forward to see the native players they are gonna like bring
Mhm.
next Saturday, this Saturday. Sorry, because I think this is the thing that at the moment or in the whole preseason you can't say that you watch like so big names that in the other teams. Like of course Peter O'Brien, a regular season and finals MVP, Stalin Castro is there too. Uh, Sandro Fabian, I think one thing,
Mhm.
yeah, also, yeah, but I mean, when you see the roster, then you can make your own like comparison. So let's move now to Estrellas. Estrellas have a lot of pitchers also, and yeah, it's only about seven pitchers and three position players, and there are some players that are uh, pretty known, pretty popular, like Eddie Olivares.
Yeah, that's definitely a big one. And then I would say Luis Camposano is a really
Also,
interesting name here.
yeah,
He, I believe, is still with the Padres on
he
the
should be.
roster,
Yeah, yeah. Let me check.
while there is still in postseason. So I would not. I mean, I would be kind of surprised if he's there that soon. But that's an interesting one. And then the other names that stand out here are Spencer Horwitz, who has kind of developed himself into a really nice minor league hitter. Trying to think of his. Yeah, he had pretty good numbers. He had a really, really great season last year. Really big fall league. Seems like he had a really strong start to the year in Double A. Kind of tailed off in Triple A, but he's another guy that you could see having success in this league. Kind of a contact approach. Olivares, like you mentioned, he's been in the big leagues. And then Sean Anderson, we've seen him in the big leagues plenty as a big league reliever. And Daniel Ponce de Leon as well. And then the other guys, Hernandez and Kirby and Leisure, are all minor league pitchers. None of those guys have been in the big leagues yet. So definitely less experience here, way less experience here, I would say. And so they're going to really have to rely on their starters or their rotation, the Rodimus Liz's of the world. Oh, Sugar, too. I forgot to mention him. I remember when he was at University of Texas. But yeah, I mean, there's some talent here, but it's not nearly the same kind of group that some of these other groups are bringing in.
Yeah,
so I would say pitching is maybe a bit of a concern here.
Yeah, and just to double check, Campuzano is in the playoff roster. I mean, in the divisional series roster. Yeah, I think I agree because Estrellas are like it's like I can relate like the Guardians in some way.
Mm-hmm.
So they depends a lot of their pitching and defense. In the last couple of years, you can name. It's kind of weird because Junior Lake is one of the best LIDOM players in the last 5 years, but when you see the rest of the lineup, it's ups and downs. So
totally agree.
Yeah, and they have pretty good players in terms of pitching. Rafael Dolis, who
love Dolis. Where was he this year?
I think he was in the minors with some team because he wasn't in Japan this year. So
White Sox was not very good.
Yeah,
Does not look like. I like that guy a lot. I know he struggled big time with the Blue Jays in his second year, but the 2020 season he was pretty good.
So Radames Liz is also gonna be there.
Of course, he's forever.
He's always like effective, and also I published let me see if I can find it. The Estrellas rotation. Oh yeah, Felix Valdez also, which is have MLB experience, and Sean Anderson.
Both Mariners.
Yeah. And I think also Boston too. I don't know. I think he was there too. And Sean Anderson is gonna be part of the rotation also. But with that team,
but part of it, he's starting.
Anderson, yeah, he's starting. He's gonna be starting the third game on Monday against Águilas.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is very interesting. I did not realize that because he has basically been a reliever. I guess he started with the Giants in the minors.
Yeah,
he's done it before.
Let's see.
This year with the Blue Jays, he made 36 appearances and started 15 games, but that's probably more of just like a opener situation. So the fact that he's in the rotation is very interesting, but I can understand why they would maybe want to try that, considering he throws really hard, and again, like they are pretty desperate for pitching. So
yeah,
I'm not stunned by that, but that's really interesting.
Yeah. I think that they always are like good preventing runs. Sorry. So yeah, I'm in a point where I have to bet on them because I remember a couple of years ago we making the preview in a radio show in the DR. We are like, I don't know, doubting about them, and then they always made us wrong. So I'm just gonna wait. So, but obviously it's a different core in terms of the kind of guys you can see or listen, because this is gonna be available also on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts, and the other platforms. So yeah, and if you notice, everything have like a different group in terms of level, age, the kind of also the position, and it's all right because everything have their own needs. So let's go with Toros now. Toros
Yeah.
have 8 players, and what a players! So, if you wanna, I don't know.
Yeah,
There's
I can go. This is quite the group. This is quite the group.
and you don't have to say that much about them because everybody knows about them. And there's one missing. I have to text Angel because I don't see Julio Teheran here.
Oh yeah, I guess not. We know Tehran's going to be in the rotation, so that I guess is missing. But
Yeah.
so good reminder. Julio Tehran, of course, Decky's long major league career. John Nagowski, who's been in this league plenty. I mean, he was with Aguilas right last year.
The last 3 seasons, I think.
Last 3 seasons, so he's been here. And then Tim Peterson, we've seen plenty of him. Addison Russell, I believe this will be his LIDOM debut.
Yeah.
Jack Reinheimer is Jack Reinheimer, I believe, was also with the Mariners this year. I know he was at one point. He is more of a speed and defense kind of guy. Let's see where he was.
Let's check.
He was. Oh, he was with the Mariners last season. He was in independent ball this year.
Yeah.
But Brian Everetto, always good to have catchers. Jeremy Beasley and Fires. We know Mike Fires. Beasley's pitched in the big leagues recently too. Paolo Espino. I mean, this is a great. I love this. So has he been? He's pitched for a few different teams, right? Wasn't he on Estrella?
No, the thing is, they draft him in the playoff because Toros were eliminated.
Oh, okay. Yes.
That's something that happens for guys who are not used with LIDOM when the regular season ends, and that brings some confusion for everyone. Because there's a draft for native players and foreign players when the regular season ends, and also when the round robin ends, there's a foreign players draft, and they made that because it's better in terms of you don't have to go to the rest of the Caribbean to get another players who are maybe in a lower level, because LIDOM is higher level, the highest level for the Caribbean leagues, and that's why.
But I'm really excited to see him. He just had a historic season for the Nationals, in which he threw 113 innings.
I remember you guys were rooting for him in the last start.
And he didn't quite get to the record, but he does now have the second most innings ever in a season without a single win. But guess what? Guess what's going to happen? He's going to go down to the DR.
And going to win 6 games.
And he's going to win his first game. That's what's going to happen.
Of course.
I'm so confident that is what is going to happen.
I mean, the Toros have the team that the Nationals don't to support him. So
exactly.
Yeah, and
but anything else on any of these guys?
No, I think you already break perfectly down.
Peterson was really good last year. So.
Yeah, and of course they lost. Not that they lost, but they decide not to bring back Peter O'Brien, who is now with Escogido. And guess what? Some Marlins players are gonna be playing there. So Jesus Sanchez, Brian De La Cruz,
yep.
And also the native players, Ruben Sosa, which is gonna be in his last season. He's gonna retire to be a coach. He already was being like a outfielders and
Ruben Sosa,
with the Rangers. So that's probably the reason why. Let's jump with the last team, not the less important, the defending champions, Gigantes del Cibao. With you can I think only Tito Polo, the Colombian outfielder, is the only one who hasn't played in LIDOM, but the other ones, you and the other people who are watching this video and that watched LIDOM last season are kind of familiar with the other guys.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, certainly Jorge Martinez, who I believe was there last year. Rudia has been there for a long time. Then Eric Falia, who I believe is now gonna have every. Is this the last team he hasn't played for? He has.
Filia,
He started with Estrellas.
Estrellas.
He's
He
played
played
for
with
Escogido. He's played
Escogido,
for Aguilas. He's
and
played for
I think he
Licey.
played for Licey in the playoff also. Yeah, he's missing
He
Toros.
has
He's missing
not
Toros.
played for Toros.
Yeah, he's missing Toros. Yeah.
But that will be the last one. So totally realistic scenario where Gigantes, doesn't make the playoffs, and Toros drafts him for the round robin.
Yeah.
That would give him all 6,
Yeah,
which is pretty impressive for a foreign
it's
player in just 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's a pretty short club. I don't remember right now. I can make the research later. And yeah, there are a few players. I don't remember if there's a native player, but maybe, especially those foreign players that have been playing.
I was going to say, I feel like it's easier as a foreign player, right? Because I would think to jump.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But Urrutia's been there. Segris, another former big league pitcher. He hasn't pitched in the big leagues for a while. Jorge Martinez, I remember watching a lot of last season. And then I mean Tito Polo. I mean, I'm amped about Tito Polo. This is a guy who I remember when he was a Pirates prospect. I saw him in the minors. He then ended up on the White Sox. Then he was on the Mariners a few years ago. But I'm looking here, and he has been crushing it in Mexico the last 2 seasons. So I know it is a very hair-friendly environment down there, but definitely excited to see what he can do.
Yeah, and there's the Colombian connection there because the manager
Luis Rueda, yes,
who was the Colombia's manager for the 2017 WBC, and I'm pretty sure he's gonna repeat in next year with the team. So I haven't checked if Colombia have made an announcement, but yeah, maybe it's gonna be him again.
On Drusek, I just want to mention he has been amazing in Taiwan this year, and he was with Gigantes last year. So former Reds reliever, I remember him being in the big leagues for a while.
Urrutia has been so into Gigantes. Like, he was one of the first players who arrived to the trainings, and even before the trainings, I think he was already in San Francisco. And yeah, he was one of the heroes for the second championship for Gigantes last season. And there are pretty also big names that are going to be playing with Gigantes this season. Kelvin Gutierrez, which was with the Orioles this season. It's also going to be
Valentin. Why isn't Valentin on here?
Oh, yeah. I have to talk with Arving. Also, LIDOM legend Juan Francisco. Basically the LIDOM Barry Bonds is Juan Francisco.
Yes, that is LIDOM Barry Bonds. I forgot two things on Urrutia, and then we can wrap because I gotta get going here. We're going a little long, but I know there's so much we cover. We could go all night. So maybe we'll have to come back for part 2 at some point once the season gets started.
Of course.
But Urrutia, first of all, I forgot how incredible he was for them last season. I mean, he had an OPS over 1,000 in both the regular season and the round robin. I mean, he was unbelievable. I mean,
it was an historic performance. Yeah.
So I'm sure that people are very excited to see him. But the other thing to mention about him is that if you are familiar with our name, Céspedes Family Barbecue, and the original video of him, Yoenis Céspedes roasting a pig on a spit at the end of his highlight video. In the background of that video, there is a man in a blue shirt, and that is Henry Urrutia.
Whoa! Wow! I'm gonna look into the picture. So,
I'll send you. I'll send you the clip here. Here, I'll put it in chat. I know this is a podcast, but if you that's not right. Sorry. That clip is broken. But basically, if you go to the original, and in which, by the way, it also in that clip is he's wearing an Aguilas shirt. Yoenis is wearing an Aguilas shirt.
Whoa! Amazing. Well, I know I'm gonna look into it. You have to send me that. I don't know, maybe.
Here. Well, let's see. I guess let's see. Can I share a tab here? Here we go.
Let me check.
Here we go. Look at this. You can add it to the stream and you'll see it.
Oh yeah, sure. Let's see.
So this is the original video.
Yeah. I see
This
him.
right here is Henry Urrutia in the blue.
Yeah.
And there, as you can see, he's wearing
Wow.
an Aguilas shirt.
Yeah. Wow.
How about that, right?
This is gold. This is gold content. Wow.
Yep. So there you go. There's a little fun fact for you.
No, perfect.
But yeah, but this has been super fun. Again, like we could go all night long, but unfortunately, I have to cut it off here. But I'm so excited for the season, dude. Like this is so great, and I guess a good thing to end on would be like the fact that it's going to be streaming on MLB TV, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, guys. I'm maybe I'm gonna make a, or maybe you guys are gonna make a, like you used to do every season, a trade where to watch it, and maybe I'm gonna
we'll put out the info.
Yeah, maybe I'm gonna make a video, some screenshots for guys who are
that'd be great.
Lost, because sometimes it's tricky to get it because it's not in the regular MLB TV first option.
Yeah, it's in like the featured and whatever.
Yeah, so yeah.
But if you should totally make a video that's just like, especially with the websites, with the Bengaleses and the winter ball data and all that stuff.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna put in the description also because I already talked about Bengaleses, and we use that amazing webpage to talk about the foreign players, and also I'm gonna put the link for baseball data and winter ball data, which is basically baseball reference for LIDOM, and it has a paid subscription. I think it's $10 a year, and yeah, it's too cheap for the all the info you can get from there. And so just in the last minute, some prospect that you are gonna watch also for different things. Marco Luciano is gonna be there for Estrellas for the first month. There's a guy named Rainer Nunez. He's from the Blue Jays. He's not in the top 30, but he had 140 WRC plus in high A this season and 129 in single A in 2022. He hit 2 homers today in the last preseason game for Estrellas against Gigantes.
What's his name?
Rainer Nunez. And and also in Licey it's gonna be Eli De La Cruz.
Yes, I was gonna mention him.
Yeah, the first MLB player of the year. In Águilas it's gonna be Alexander Canario, one of the top 5 prospects for the Chicago Cubs, who have a huge year this season in the minors with them. And who I'm missing? Oh, Davison De Los Santos.
Very excited about him.
In the fall league. He's gonna play with Gigantes in the regular season, because also Colombian manager Luis Oreta works for the D-backs. So there's again the connection. And I'm missing some players. Yeah, maybe for Escogido, I don't remember. Like a big prospect. Oh yeah, Warming Bernabeu, which for the Rockies was the first pick for Escogido. Is going to be playing for them. And for Toros, who is the team that I'm missing,
is Amador. Right?
I don't remember if he's going to play Adael Amador, if they confirm that. But again, they're going to be so MLB level players there. So I'm gonna be breaking down, maybe on Saturday I'm gonna be breaking down the roster. Hopefully I'm gonna be at home and not outside with the kids. So yeah, thanks a lot for joining me, Jordan.
Absolutely, dude. This was super fun.
Yeah, looking forward for a couple of more episodes during the season, and also with Jake joining us when he's not busy like today. And again, if you are like enjoying this content, I invite you to subscribe to the YouTube channel and also give us a like in your favorite podcast platform. Oh, one announcement: I'm gonna make a giveaway. So, Licey for the last couple of years have been like without the New Era hat, and they just brought it a couple of weeks ago, like 10 days ago, I think. So I'm gonna be giving one of the new era caps, and it's gonna be one of your preference. The only requirement to qualify for the giveaway is you have to be living in the US, because I'm gonna buy it from Amazon and I'm gonna deliver to your home. So yeah, so I'll let you know later about that. Maybe I don't have a specific date for that, but yeah. Again, thank you for joining me, Jordan, and see you in another episode, guys.
You definitely will.